Friends, today we are going to make a sweet LED sign in just a few minutes, so let's get cracking. Friends, the goal is to always make this clear and concise, and of course, if you take time to subscribe, that also makes my day. This is Tinkercad. If you're looking for basic tutorials, I've got a ton of them. I'll put a few up here in the cards. Right now, though, we're going to get this awesome font using Canva. I simply use Sign In with Google, and when I create designs, I most often work with the Instagram square post. Of course, we are making text for this project, so I'm going to click on text, and we're simply going to add a text box. I am going to do HLMT. Having these all capitals does make it a little more slick. We need to find a better font for the project. I want one that is quite wide. Notice there are tons to look through. It only takes a moment to swap between them. I think today I'm going to give Lazy Dog a go. So when I grab this, I can stretch it to make it larger, and then we need to make these letters connect so that the sign will work. If we go to spacing, if we go to letter spacing, you can get them just like this, so they are all connected. Notice if you switch to a different font, you'll have to adjust those numbers. I'm going to just back this up a little bit. And I do want to emphasize again, that gap would be a problem. I'm going to adjust it one more time to the shorthand so you can see how mine worked. Notice it does leave a gap in the middle. That's a little bit of a problem, but it also ended up being a bonus. I'm going to work with this font just because it matches the project, and it ended up being pretty darn slick. Now we need to download that as a JPG. I always cheat and use my screen capture. I have got a shortcut key in Snagit. After that, I can simply do File Export, and 3 clicks later, it is saved into my screenshots folder. I do also want to quickly highlight that part of this trick is that it is a single color. If you had a border around those letters, it would cause you some issues. It could also give you some advantages, but for this trick to really work, you need the one color. The next step in the process is to simply visit Pick SVG. It is a free SVG converter. We simply upload that picture we created, and then instead of these outside edges, we want the internal edges. This solid black line is what we need. Notice if you pick number 2, it's a little bit larger. It really doesn't matter. Whichever one you prefer is fine. I am going to save it in my downloads folder with whatever name it gave me. At this point, visit Tinkercad. I always choose Sign In with Google, and we're going to create a new 3D design. Let's start by naming it. I'm going to call mine HLMT LED. With the project named, we can import the file. Simply hit choose, go to our downloads, find that thing we just created, switch to art, and then instead of 270, I'm going to do 200. Notice this number scales automatically, and we can simply hit import. When we click on this file, it gives us the awesome fill mode we need to make this project happen. I'm going to start by making my sign longer. You can see now I'm a little larger than 8 centimeters. I think that'll be pretty neat. It does fit completely on the work plane. If you wanted a larger work plane, I'll let you know real quickly. Over here, you can go as large as 1000 by 1000. You do have to delete and type the numbers and press enter. And then when you close the settings, you'll have much more room to work. That is way larger than my printer, but at least you can see how big you can make it. This is going to be the back of the project. I'm going to make it 1 millimeter thick. I'm also going to do Control D. And I'm going to make this the outside edge by choosing outer line. And I'm going to set it a width of 1.2. I'm going to make these round, and I'm going to up the quality. Notice those all connect real nice, and I can take this outer line, and I can also stretch it up, so we've got the frame almost instantly. You can pick whatever area you want in there. I'm going to choose 3 centimeters for this one. That gives us a lot more room to work, and you'll notice the gaps are pretty nice all the way around. All right, let's do some color changes so that this is easier to keep track of what is what. I'm going to make this a blue in the back. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to make it a preset. Let's go with just a purple. And now we're going to quickly set up the ridge where the next part sets. I'm going to do Control D. I'm going to move it to the side so it's easier to see what happens. We're going to switch this simply to inner line. And I'm going to make this 2 so there's a decent ridge. And press enter. Notice you have to wait for it to happen. I'm also going to switch the color so this shows up a lot easier. Let's go with a funky pink. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to do L for align. If I make this one the boss, I can choose middle. And if I look at it from the corner, this is a lot more clear to see. I'm also going to choose middle. Check it out. That's the ridge our front plate will sit on. Now you can make this go all the way to the bottom, but watch this. If you raise it up and then make this lower, you have got more area to work with in the case. Now when it prints, you might have a little stringing under here, but that's easy to trim off with an X-Acto knife, and that's what I did. This gave me more area to stick the components when the sign was completed. If you want this distance to be a special amount, let's just do Shift Select to get these two, L for align, and if we make the pink one the boss and choose the top, now we can click on our ridge and do Control down arrow. There's 1, 2, 3 millimeters for the exact amount it'll be sunk in. That, my friends, is the entire project ready to print. You do need the front plate. I'm going to simply do Control D and move that out. If you want to put a separator here, you could do that with another piece glued on top, printed a different color. You could also make your own separator by simply bringing out a cylinder, make the sides the max, set your nudge to something small so you can make extra small adjustments. And if you make that super skinny, you can line it up to make the hole that you want. I'm going to do F for fit view, zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to stretch it to the length I think looks cool. Now I can rotate it to the right angle. And when I do Control G, after a moment, those letters are separated. How cool is that? I do want this to be thinner so that it's easier for light to shine through. So I'm going to set it at 0.1 millimeters and press enter. We do need to add a hole for the electronics. I measured my little electronic box and it is about 16 by 7. I'm going to quickly rotate this 90 degrees and I'm going to put it in place. I'm going to choose to start the electronics down here. Once I've got it lined up, I'm going to select that entire part and do Control G to group. Just like that, we're ready to send the parts to the printer. I'm going to choose Export STL. Notice I did only select one piece. I always put them in my 3D modeling folder. And I'm going to call this LED bottom. And then I'm going to select the other part, and I'm going to choose Export. Notice it's only the selected shape, STL, and this one is going to be called HLMT LED top. I'm going to print these separately. I'm going to make this one white just so you can see what I'm thinking for how it works. If you chose to print this with an AMS-enabled Bambu Labs printer, it would take quite a bit longer because it would be switching colors during those entire first few layers. So let's set up a print super quickly in case you've never done this before. We're going to do add, and I'm going to bring in the bottom first. That is what I'm going to print with the blue. I am going to right click on this and I'm just going to change it to the blue filament. Bambu Lab Studio is so darn slick. I'm going to simply use the basic settings. It is that easy. Move over here and hit slice plate. And when that's complete, I can simply hit print plate. Double check that my colors are the way I expect and then simply send it to the 3D printer. After a moment, it'll switch to the device menu. As you can see, it is downloading to the printer. And once it completes, we can hit the play button and we can monitor the process from afar. A super quick time lapse, just so you know, 0.1 was not even long enough. All right, everybody, so here it is printed. I have put in my LEDs. This is a simple Amazon purchase. Mine came with an adapter, a remote, and this is the component that I wanted to be able to go inside the sign. This is my 0.1 millimeter thick top. Once you've got all your LEDs in place, note this is the smaller version. If this was larger, there'd be a lot more room to squeeze those in. Then you can simply grab this front piece and snap it in place. Bingo, LED sign. Also, this tiny gap that is the trick that allows me to get back in. If I wouldn't have had that, it would have been a lot more tricky to be able to go back in and modify it. But bingo, LED sign created. And of course the best part, bam, let's power it on. Able to switch colors. As I said earlier, I do need more LEDs, but I made this one just a little too small. Lesson learned. Stay tuned for the bigger one. Friends, I am hoping you found that extremely useful, and I'm looking forward to seeing the cool results you create with the tutorial. Of course, have a glorious day, and keep tinkering. Friends, as I wrap up, I do want to remind you about my website, HLModTech.com. Of course, I've got a tab dedicated to Tinkercad with all sorts of amazing categories. Below that, you'll find the Day 1 favorites, the useful starters, and the Tinkercad essentials. If you scroll down a little farther, you will find my course, Tinkercad in 20 Days. It is fully explained in this video. Of course, I do want to highlight the coupon code 25HLTinkercad, as it'll get you 25% off any of the awesome courses at cadclass.org. Of course, you can get there by simply clicking this link. Friends, just a quick reminder about the sweet built-in messaging tool. You can click that button, add your question, comment, or suggestion, and reach me almost instantly. You can also use the link to the Tinkercad community Discord. As you can see, there are a boatload of members, and it's a fantastic place to talk everything Tinkercad. Finally, friends, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please also hit that share button so more people can learn about HLModTech. Don't forget, you absolutely make my day if you take time to leave a comment down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button. And last but not least, hit that notification bell if you want to be the first to know when there's a brand new video from me, HLModTech. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.